Hey guys, how's it going? Episode 5, Unscripted and Real with Ryan and Jenn, and wow, things have changed in the last couple of weeks since our last episode, that's for sure.
Talk about a pivot.
Go pivot! Pivot! Pivot!
Pivot.
Yeah.
Wow, it's. I hope everybody's doing well. We'll start out with that. I really hope you and your family are all safe and healthy. It's a crazy time right now that nobody has ever experienced or seen coming before. Or I don't know. Talk about testing the human will, I guess, right now.
All of it for sure. Actually, I think you just brought up a good point that like we've never dealt with this before, and I just kind of wanted to throw in. I'm such a struggle bus today.
It's okay. That's life. We're testing the human will. Here we go.
Wait, can we just like cut that part out?
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. I just actually encourage all of you to offer yourself some grace, to know that like if you are not okay, if you are fucking confused and angry and upset and overwhelmed, like it's actually okay. None of us are expected to know how to navigate any of this. So give yourself some grace. Just don't think because you're at home that you need to all of a sudden take on every project that's there or deep clean, or if I honestly see another post about like weight loss in quarantine, like I might lose my mind. Like let's just give ourselves grace to move through this however it is that we are.
The one thing, I don't know if it was as well as you and I that were talking about it the other day, that kind of hit home for me a little bit was going into this, we kind of thought we had all this free time all of a sudden, that work was going to be slower, people are home from work for whatever reasons, and had these huge to-do lists.
Right.
Well, I find we're actually busier now than we ever have been in our lives because we're teachers all of a sudden. Like we're teachers, we're trying to homeschool our kids, we're still trying to run our businesses and maintain a household. So, and then try and get that list done because subconsciously I'm trying to tell myself, well, I have to do this. I have to take advantage of some of this time.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay just to be busy, to understand we are really busy right now and it's just different and we're all going through. I never once imagined I was ever going to be a teacher. Never once did I want to be a teacher.
I didn't sign up to be a teacher for a reason.
I told all my teacher friends for years and years and years I never
a school
wanted
teacher,
their
I
job.
should say. I mean,
Yes.
I do teach yoga, so I can
teacher.
teach the kids yoga all day.
I've
But
always told my friends I didn't ever envy their jobs because I didn't want to have, like, I couldn't deal with my own kids, never mind other kids. Well, here I am. Karma, you got me, I guess.
right, and I think just also the emotional expenditure of rapid and drastic change takes a toll on us. So I know I've had this conversation with my girlfriends and with clients from the studio about like, why are we so tired right now when you look at our schedule, like all of a sudden the 15 hockey ice times a week aren't in there and I'm not physically teaching 15 classes a week. And so if you look at the physical schedule, it actually looks a lot quieter, but the emotional expenditure of that rapid change and that collective stress and anxiety and that unknown, like it's definitely taking a toll on us. So I just, again, like let's offer ourselves grace. Let's just know that whatever it is that you need right now is okay. If that's like 12 cups of coffee, go for it. If you need those couple glasses of wine in the evening, if you need to meditate 4 times a day, like give yourself the capacity to do that.
Absolutely. And like you talk about how tiring it is mentally in that right now. I was listening to a podcast yesterday and it was from Simon Sinek, one of the most famous podcast authors I've come across. And he had a great point. He was talking to a bunch of real estate agents. He said, when this is all over, you won't have a job. You won't have the same job.
No.
And a lot of people just kind of stopped and like, but we'll still be in the business. And he said, absolutely. And this goes for any business out there. Your business has changed. Your job has changed today. Mm-hmm. And it's trying to navigate those waters and figure out the new norm right now. How to sell real estate, how to run a wellness studio, how to be a salesman, how to do whatever has changed, and it has forever changed in my mind. And that's the most harrowing part right now, is for us trying to, well, I mean, thankfully we've used technology forever. So it's not as big of a shock in our real estate business, but really navigating that virtual business now. Taking all of our showings to full 360 walkthrough tours, creating even more video content, creating more tools for people to get through that home selling and buying process at home. Meanwhile, not being sales pitchy and all that sort of stuff. But and that's not just real estate, but it is any business trying to adapt and create new content that people are going to be relative.
Yeah, and I think when I was speaking with James Chambers from Chez Angela Bakery last week, he had brought up the point of the fact that with any change comes mourning or grief. So we had this actual conversation about grief, and knowing that the way things were 2 weeks ago, like even once the dust settles from this, like the normal won't be the same, because it just can't be. Like nothing can ever go back to how it was, right? But it was just that huge, profound shift all at once. So it's basically like we're moving through these heavy emotions of, we'll maybe call it grief for lack of a better word, or maybe that is the perfect word. But we're moving through all of this, but at the same time, as business owners, trying to be innovative and adaptive within this, and to think that others are out there now whose jobs maybe didn't seem risky or dangerous before, but those healthcare providers and anyone working in healthcare right now, all the way from like physicians and surgeons and nurses and therapists and pharmacists and the lab techs and the x-ray techs and the cleaning staff, like all of them whose jobs seemed relatively safe before have maybe become dangerous now. So I mean, just dealing with all of that emotion is pretty huge.
Absolutely. And one thing I just wanted to talk about really quickly is, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen them, but we did start a new campaign throughout Brandon, and it's our Love Local Business campaign. Had a couple of people ask me why we did this and what motivated us, and got the idea from a really dear friend of ours out west, Michael Thorne.
We love you, Michael.
Kind of in a conversation mentioned something about it, and I absolutely loved it. And being from family that owned small business before, to being part of a community and seeing how Brandon is such a community, it was a no-brainer for us to try to do anything we could to give those businesses a voice right now, and share with our community what their struggles are and how this has all affected their business a little bit, and what we as a community and you as a community can do to help these small businesses. Because as I've said on probably every episode so far, is small business is the backbone of a community. And
not only the backbone, I will say, like, small businesses, the heart of the community. And I was talking with a dear friend this morning, and their business has been impacted by this greatly from day one. And I said, a lot of small business owners, it's also their passion, right? Like, most people don't jump into entrepreneurship and take on the risk of opening or owning a business if they don't actually feel passionate about it. So not only now is their livelihood impacted, but also their creative and passion outlets have been halted for some, and it's just leaving this big void for a lot of people in our community.
Well, and it's a scary time for all these small businesses, because we don't know what the future's about to hold. We don't know how long the self-quarantine or how long the state of emergency is going to be, and it does affect a lot of people. One thing I did want to touch on really quickly with you, though, you've taken your business and really pivoted in a hurry, and it's honestly something, as a husband but a fellow business owner, is pretty proud to watch and inspiring to watch everything you've done with your business in these last 2 weeks, taking it more online and offering. So do you want to touch on that quickly?
You're going to make me talk about myself?
Put you on the spot.
So, I mean, we put our classes online, yoga classes, and I've been in filming, and an instructor, Holly, that's been in filming. We just wanted to ensure that people had access to yoga as a tool during this uncertain time. It's literally been, I don't know where I would be without yoga. So I just wanted to make sure that that was something that was accessible to people. And also, it's kind of funny because I've been in probably over a year in the works of creating a mindfulness program, and had kind of soft launched it and had a few one-on-one clients move through a 12-week program, and had used pieces of it at retreats and courses I'd led, but hadn't really put it out there. So yeah, I figured I was already uncomfortable with the pivot enough as it is, so I might as well just put this out there, and just launched my Mindful Magic, which is a 14-day mindfulness program, just meant to bring a little bit more mindfulness and bringing people in the present moment within their lives and their days, and especially amongst everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I know you've had some great feedback from previous courses you've ran in that, so it's exciting to watch that. But it's supposed to be real estate, yoga, and life. Life has really taken control of this episode, which is completely fine.
And I think we could touch on real estate here in Manitoba. They haven't, our governing body has basically just taken away open houses and asked that any in-person showings be only of, I guess we would say, urgent need.
Yeah.
But there is still real estate happening, I guess.
There is. It's obviously slowed down a little bit, but there's still people that have to move. There's people that had their houses sold before the pandemic hit. There's people that had already accepted jobs in Brandon that are moving here that have to buy a house. So I've seen a couple posts online where people are still surprised that there's stuff happening. People are still moving around, and unfortunately life does kind of have to go on a little bit for some people. And I guess just give them some grace if you see them out looking at houses and that. There are taking precautions, I can promise you that. Every office in town has pretty strict regulations right now. I mean, from our side of it right away, we have 2 military postings that have to leave and 1 coming in. Like they are moving and stuff. So business is moving on, and not surprisingly, everything online is picking up. I mean, that's where we've really focused all of our attention, is pushing stuff online and that. So, and we're going to continue to do that. That's the big shift in this industry right now, is taking stuff online.
And also to ensure that we will continue being as proactive and ahead of the curve as we can in ensuring everyone is safe, and not using just the bare minimum suggestions or recommendations, but making sure that we're going ahead of that. Because as we've seen, things have changed so rapidly here in all fronts. So what we're doing today there's going to be something different happening tomorrow. So our philosophy, and my philosophy in the studio, closing almost a week before it was mandated, was just knowing that it was coming. And so why don't we just do it now, right? So same thing is in real estate, that we know that this is going to be coming. So trying to do as much as we can virtually and online as possible, and only having those in-person interactions if there's no way around it.
Stay safe out there. We will connect with you again very soon. If there's something you want to hear about, as always, let us know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can continue to follow along in our journey through this thing we call life. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think that I maybe have a suggestion. Ryan kind of rocked it with homeschool last week. Maybe you need to start a homeschool channel. But that'll be our next one. We'll talk all about Ryan's homeschool. See you later. Thanks, guys.